Hello, CrossFitters, and welcome to the CrossFit Games Update Show. Here's what we have in store for you today. The 2013 Open is almost upon us. We'll preview Dan Bailey versus Scott Panchik leading up to their live head-to-head Open workout in 13.1. We sat down with General Manager of the CrossFit Games, Justin Berg, to hear his thoughts on the Open and some of the exciting new features on the game site this year. Have a favorite moment from last year's Open? Stick around to see if it made our top 5 as we count down the most memorable moments from the 2012 Open. The CrossFit Games Update Show starts now.
3, 2, 1, go!
Welcome to another week of the CrossFit Games Update Show. I'm Pat Sherwood alongside Maddie Curley, who finished 11th in the Worldwide Open last year and placed 7th at the ultra-competitive SoCal Regionals, which is just insane to me. With stats like that, you're ready for the Open, right?
I was fit last year. No, I'm very excited about the Open, and it launches in just 8 short days.
Nice.
Now is the time when each and every member of the CrossFit community gets the opportunity to find out just how much all of their hard work, discipline, and sacrifice has paid off.
I don't want to brag, but no one can top my sacrifice. No cheat meal, no ice cream in almost 24 hours. Open, I'm ready. We're all excited about the Open, right? 2013 is here. But before we shift our focus to this season and relegate 2012 to the history books, let's take a moment to reminisce about last year's Open. Maddie, you were one of the top athletes in the Open on planet Earth last year.
This is a lot of pressure.
Obviously, whatever you did worked. What was your strategy for the workouts?
Well, this is funny. Actually, my strategy was to beat my roommate, Andrea Ager. So we were both teammates at the games in 2011. She's a phenomenal athlete. So I would make sure she did the workout first, and then I would do it after her and try to beat whatever she got.
That is one hell of a rabbit.
And then she would usually do it again, and then I would want to do it again.
Okay. Now, I didn't do any of the workouts more than once. I didn't need to, because I knew I was in no chance of going to regionals. Why would you were number 3 in your, going to regionals. You only had to be in the top 60, so you're in no danger of not going to regionals. Why did you choose to do some workouts more than once?
Oh, compulsive behavior.
Okay,
I just want to be the best, I guess. And since you did have that time, it was like, you just had to do it, And I also didn't know what workouts were coming up, so I never knew if there was going to be one that I was going to be really bad at.
Just in case. When you're wonderfully mediocre, you're in no danger. Everything's cool. The 2012 Open saw a record set for participation. All you CrossFitters poured your hearts into the workouts. And that type of effort, well, it deserves a second look. Later in the show, we'll bring you the top moments from the 2012 Open. But for now, let's move on to 2013 and take a look at exactly what the Open will entail. As in previous years, the Open will consist of 5 different workouts performed on a weekly basis. For those of you new to our sport, let me give you some lingo so you'll sound like a veteran walking around your box.
Which is your gym.
Which is your gym, yes. You'll hear those 5 workouts called 13.1, 13.2, etc. In order to have your scores count, step 1, do the workout. And you can do it as many times as you want. Step 2, you need to submit your best result before Sunday, 5 p.m. Pacific time on the week that each workout is announced. Couldn't be simpler.
Did you hear step 2?
Yes, I will submit this year, I promise.
Great, great. This year, each Open workout will be announced as a live event. The workout itself will be announced on location by the director of the games himself, Dave Castro.
I know him.
Remember how the workout demos that accompanied each announcement from last year?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, well, this year, 2 top-level games athletes will be throwing down head-to-head just minutes after learning what the workout is. And all of this will be streamed live from the game site, so don't miss it.
I am so excited about that. Let's take a look at where and when each of these announcements will be made. First up, CrossFit Vitality, just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. We'll have Scott Panchik, 4th place finisher at last year's games, versus fellow Central East competitor and 6th place games finisher, Dan Bailey. They will throw down in the first workout just minutes after it's announced. Let's see how these two match up head to head. All right, Maddie, looking at the numbers, who do you think is going to win this one?
All right, well, looking at those numbers, I would go with Bailey because every number there is better.
Boom.
All
There
right.
you go, you're right.
But they're both amazing athletes. They're both from Central East region, which is where Rich Froning and Graham Holmberg are. Now, Bailey placed higher in the Open and regionals,
Okay.
but Panchik placed higher in the games. He was 4th and Bailey got 6th.
Yes, you are 100% correct. They're both amazing.
Yeah.
But I want you to give me one name. Who is going to win, Scott or Dan?
All right, I'm gonna go with Panchik.
Really?
Yeah, he was a rookie last year and now he's not. I think he's gonna want it more.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I don't believe you're correct. I think Dan Bailey is going to win, and I'm willing to put a little wager on it.
Are you really?
$5.
You're on.
Okay, there you go. All right, CrossFit Nation, hold her to that.
Scott, do me proud.
All right, so we don't know the workouts, and more importantly, neither do they. Dan and Scott need to perform a workout live in front of the world, only minutes after it's announced. This kind of feels more like the games than the Open, since everyone else will have several days to plan their workout. Talk about unknown and unknowable, right? In CrossFit, we train to be prepared for anything. Any movement, any loading, any time domain, and that type of fitness is exactly what Scott and Dan will need since they're walking into this event blind. Now, Maddie, you've been in some big competitions. What do these guys feel like walking into this event literally blind? Or figuratively blind?
Not literally. We will let them keep their eyesight.
Nice.
I would feel very nervous.
Makes sense.
And I think they're both a little nervous too, but we did get to speak to them and they said they're both humbled and excited about the opportunity. And neither of them said they're going to spend much time worrying about it because there's nothing
Don't
really
know
they
what it
can
is,
worry
why
about.
worry?
Yeah. But they did think of workouts they would like to have.
Okay.
So Panchik said he would like to have not 7, but 8 minutes of burpees. Surprise, surprise. He did get 161 in the Open,
Makes no
though.
sense.
And then Dan Bailey made up his own workout that he would like to see, which would
Okay.
be a clean and jerk ladder similar to the snatch ladder from last year.
I don't like either one of those recommendations
Yeah,
personally.
we won't take those. No.
And Dan, of course you want that, right? Your Grace is what, like just over a minute? Of course he wants a clean and
Of course
jerk
he
ladder.
does.
Anyway, I am genuinely excited to watch this event, and the greatest part is there are 4 more. Each week, along with the workout announcement, we will have a new pair of top games athletes competing head-to-head. And in true CrossFit fashion, the names of those athletes have not been released. We get all kinds of secrets. We're big on secrets. 2012 was a record-breaking year in terms of participation in the sport of fitness, and it started with the Open. Let's take a look at how 2013 is stacking up so far.
As you can see, 2013 is already topped 2012 in the number of participants and the number of countries represented. Look how many more countries are involved this
blows
year.
me away.
Which year will claim the title for the most reps performed?
We shall see. Remember, as long as you register for the Open by the end of the first week, you will be in the running for regionals. Even if you miss that date, you can still register and compete in any of the workouts. You just won't get a shot at regionals, so sign up.
Yeah, so let's get out there and prove our fitness.
I'm going to prove it. You know who else is going to prove it? Dan Bailey.
I don't know why that
My
inspired a
$5. Coming up, we'll sit down with the general manager of the CrossFit Games, Justin Berg. He'll tell us what the Open means and why we do it. The CrossFit Games Update Show will be right back.
The CrossFit Games Update Show is brought to you in part by Progenics, the official performance nutrition sponsor of the 2013 Reebok CrossFit Games.
I'm stronger than I was. My legs are a lot stronger. That's the thing that's blowing my mind is that I had a catastrophic knee injury. My goal is to win. I want to win everything. I'm just excited for it. That's all I want. I just want to be here.
Pat Sherwood sitting alongside Justin Berg, the general manager of the CrossFit Games. Justin, the season is upon us. The Open is about to kick off. Who better than you to tell us Why should I be excited about it? What purpose does it serve?
It's a great question. First off, this is the most exciting part of the year for me. We're getting ready to test that fitness, and I think on March 6th, it's going to be kind of the first wake-up call for everybody. Let's see how that full year of programming really paid off.
So right now we have an online competition. That is the first step in the games season. Why do we do it that way?
The reason we run the Open the way that we do is for a couple purposes. Number one, we've already tried it a couple other ways. And we tried running sectionals, and quickly we were running out of resources, and affiliates were not going to be able to manage the amount of participation that we had. But the reason we run it this way is because it's the way that we maximize participation in the Open. The barriers to entry are super low. $20, an internet connection, and you need a camera. If you got those three things, you can throw your name in the hat. And what that allows us to do is set a very, very broad base, which is just a big science fair project for us. We're going to put out 5 workouts during the Open, which means everybody around the world is going to participate. At the end of that, he or she that performs statistically best across all of those workouts will be advancing to their regionals. And so we needed that level of objectivity in order for us to really have a test that looks like the CrossFit Games season. Outside of maximizing participation, it also makes it very approachable for affiliates on a local level to still have that ownership of the event. And so what I love about the game season is that the Open is born out of the affiliates. So if they want to host big events, host big events. And we've seen some really exciting examples of that, guys renting warehouses and having these big competitions, all the way down to people just running the Open workout as their standard Thursday morning programming. And so you see a lot of different ways that people approach it, and it's much like CrossFit. There's not a one-size-fits-all. Everybody has their own little spin and flavor on how they make these workouts go.
And we're getting more participation this year than previous years, and every year on top of our tests and events growing and being more mature, so is our CrossFit Games site and website as well.
Yeah.
This year there are some pretty cool features. Can you speak to me about those?
We've got a couple really neat things. And I think what's cool about this is that the Open allows you to not just see how you stack up on a worldwide level. This year we're adding functionality so you can compare yourself not just to another athlete, but maybe another handful of athletes as well. So maybe me, you, and 4 or 5 other guys in the office can put together our own leaderboard and see how we stack up in those workouts. It's also neat because the way that you can select for those different categories, you might want to find out not only how do you stack up against people in the office, but maybe you want to see how do you stack up against athletes in the Northeast region that are over 30 years old that happen to have been CrossFitting for more than 1 year.
Oh,
so it's going to be a lot of interesting detail, and there's going to be a lot of geeking out. If you thought leaderboarding was exciting last year, you're going to have all the stats that you can geek out with this year that'll take it to that next level.
Whole another level. People are going to be getting nothing accomplished at work.
No.
Basically. CrossFit, very big on what we call feedback loop. We have benchmarks, things of that nature. I don't want you to believe that you're fit. I want the data to show that.
Absolutely.
So last year we kind of repeated that terrible ascending Fran ladder and chest to bar pull-ups.
Right.
Can we expect another repeat of something we've seen this year?
I think you can expect to be surprised, and you can expect it to hurt. I think those are the only common elements of good CrossFit workouts. They're high intensity, which gets you the results, but you pay a price for it. But outside of that, I don't have any insider trader tricks that I can let out of the bag right now.
You've been well trained. Admit nothing, deny everything, make counter accusations.
Absolutely.
So if the Open is supposed to be this huge participatory event, I know last year we had damn near 70,000 people throwing down, doing burpees around the world. How are we stacking up this year?
This year we're stacking up even better. And so I think it's neat. First off, let's take a step back. 2010, we had about 4,000 people competing at sectionals, which is the entry level at that point. 2011, about 26,000. Last year, just under 70. Right now, as we're filming this, and we've got about 2 weeks left in registration, we're already over 75,000 people.
Oh, wow, okay.
So it looks like we're going to be well over 100,000 for the season, which just means the competition is going to be that much more fierce.
Don't go anywhere. The CrossFit Games Update Show will be right back.
The CrossFit Games Update Show is brought to you in part by Progenics, the official performance nutrition sponsor of the 2013 Reebok CrossFit Games.
Welcome back. With the 2013 Open breathing down our necks, we couldn't help but think about our favorite moments from 2012. But before we get into our top 5 from last year, Maddie, what's your most memorable personal experience from the Open last year?
Oh, good question. So we had Friday night under the brick lights because, you know, we're in the heart of the entertainment industry in Los Angeles.
God's country. Kind of.
So we wanted to find a way that everyone could do the burpees. So we actually rented C-stands and then got these flags that you put on them. These are like lighting designs. And that way people could raise them up to do the burpees and jump and hit easily. And we had just the whole gym was involved doing it. And it was amazing.
So somehow the burpees was a good community experience.
Exactly.
Not just living hell.
I'm interested in yours.
Well, it also involves burpees. Russell Berger, an amazing athlete, we were at a level 1 course in Reno, and he did 142 burpees in 7 minutes. And that beat Rich Froning's number of burpees. Didn't win the event, but I got to see somebody do better than Rich Froning, so it was super cool. And it destroyed him. He was non-communicative, just rolling from one side to the other, you know, feet just flopping around. He had a lecture coming up after lunch, couldn't give it because he couldn't speak. I had to go start his lecture, so it's in my memory forever. I will cherish it. Russell, good job. The 2012 Open saw a rise in participation, an increase in the level of competition, and countless incredible moments. We took the liberty of boiling it all down into the top 5 most memorable. Let's get started.
All right, at number 5, I have Neil Maddox and Jason Khalipa going head-to-head in Open WOD 12.4. So let me first remind everyone what that WOD was. It was a 12-minute AMRAP of 150 wall balls, so real easy, just kick things off with Karen. Then 90 double unders and 30 muscle ups. Maddox won worldwide with 323 reps. That means he did a complete round, and then he went back for another 53 wall balls. Khalipa tied 3rd worldwide with 297, again getting over a full round, which is just crazy to me.
It doesn't make any sense. One of my favorite parts from that video, because it was filmed, when they were asked afterwards, you know, why did you guys do the first 150 wall balls so fast? Their response, bro, we never had a choice. Incredible, right? Unbelievable.
Couldn't put it down.
So,
gun to my head.
1st and 3rd place scores worldwide from the same workout session? That's ridiculous. When I spoke to Khalipa on the phone, he told me his strategy for that workout was to do Karen, the 150 wall balls, sub 6 minutes, be smooth on the double unders, and go to singles if need be on the muscle ups, then get back to the wall balls and just simply don't stop until time expires. Now, simple to say, but ridiculously hard to do. So I asked him, like, Jason, that's incredible. Do you have a secret to mental toughness, to enduring pain? And he told me, yes, Pat, I do. He told me what that secret was. Yes. And then he said, but that's a Khalipa secret, bro. You can't tell the world that.
Khalipa.
I'm like, all right, fine. You know, it's in confidence. He thought about it for 1 second. He's like, bro, the hell with it. Tell everybody. So this is what he said. This is his secret. When you coach somebody else, he's like, think about it. You're usually very positive. You look at the athlete and you say, this is what you're doing wrong, so open your hips, get back on your heels, raise your chest. You give them positive cues. When you think about yourself doing a workout, it's easy to focus on how much pain you're in. My legs hurt. I can't breathe. And so he treats himself like an athlete. And in his head, he coaches himself, analyzes his movement, and says, you know, open your knees, get back on your heels, whatever he needs to do. And that distracts him. If he feels those negative thoughts coming back in about how much pain he's in, that's his first indication that he's stopped coaching himself, and he goes right back down that path. So that is a Khalipa trade secret from a champ. Give it a try. I gave the world a Khalipa secret. That's going to be tough to beat. What's coming up next?
Tough to beat. The only way we can beat it is with another Khalipa moment.
Touché.
So, at number 4, I have the larger-than-life moment when Jason Khalipa and Kristen Clever returned to the game stadium floor to perform the demo WOD for 12.5. Khalipa just making waves in the Open. All right, so this workout, you remember, was the 7-minute ascending Fran ladder. 3 thrusters, 3 pull-ups, 6 thrusters, 6 pull-ups, etc., etc. Chris Clever came in with 145 reps, placing 13th worldwide. And Khalipa also killing it with 159 reps to take 4th worldwide. So that means they both made it to the round with 21 thrusters, and then Khalipa went on to get some of the 21 pull-ups as well.
2 champs throwing down in the same work, and I can't believe that Khalipa beat her on that. I would have placed money the other way. Incredible. That trip to the games floor was foreshadowing for both Kristen and Jason as both athletes returned to the games in 2012. And Khalipa was in 2 workout demos and stepped up both times with a 3rd and a 4th place finish worldwide on the events.
He likes the pressure.
He loves the pressure, but we're down to our top 3.
All right, coming in at number 3, we have Rich Froning and Dan Bailey competing head-to-head in Texas at CrossFit Aledo. We talked about this last week when we were covering Rich's performance in the Open and the crowds that he's getting used to performing in front of. Again, they're doing the ascending Fran ladder. Dan finishes with 156 reps, tying for 11th worldwide, while Rich gets 161 reps, placing 3rd worldwide. This event sealed the Open win for Rich. We spoke to Dan Bailey on the phone about this event, and he said the thing that really struck him was the growth of the sport. Now, he's obviously a humble guy, but he was surprised that there were so many people that were excited to watch 2 guys work out.
Just 2 guys?
Yeah.
No big deal.
Of course the CrossFit community is excited. Those 2 guys were Dan Bailey and Rich Froning.
Yeah, I would have, if I could have been there, I would have been there. I'm jealous. And it's the bromance, right?
Yeah,
Who doesn't want to see that, for God's sakes? Dan Bailey now, he has a slightly different strategy to enduring physical discomfort, the discomfort required to post one of the best scores in the entire world. He's always been open about his spirituality and faith, and he uses his faith to keep, pushing through workouts when the going gets tough. I talked to him on the phone, and he told me that faith does not make anything hurt less. It just puts his own suffering into perspective that moment, which allows him to push harder. Now, we're getting close to our top couple moments. What do we have for number 2?
All right. Number 2 is actually the number 7.
Ooh.
7 minutes of burpee, that is. All told, over 3.5 million burpees were performed.
Holy crap.
Scott Panchik and Daniela Shokin won the men's field with 161 each. Again, Scott is a rookie, and this was his first workout ever in the Open. Kristen Clever won for the women with 143 reps in her 2nd attempt.
I mean, I remember hearing about Scott's performance in the burpees, and usually, maybe this guy is just a specialist, we'll never see him again, but winds up taking 4th at the games. Legit. Aside from being extremely painful, 7 minutes of burpees is also a pretty darn good indicator of fitness. That workout was straight up conditioning, muscular stamina, and just mental toughness. And you're not going to get far in our sport if you lack any of those 3. Congratulations to everyone who participated. Maddie, we're down to the top moment. What do we have?
All right, coming in first is you, the CrossFit community. 69,370 of you stepped up last year and made it one of the world's largest participatory events. Congratulations. And this year, you can look forward to the inner gym, inner office, buddy versus buddy, personal competitions around the world. So you know that glaring weakness of yours that showed up last year, but your buddy got really lucky and didn't have any of his weaknesses show up?
No weaknesses here.
Yeah. Well, now you have a chance at redemption.
Redemption. I need a little bit of that. And I have to echo your sentiments on this one. I mean, one of the greatest aspects of CrossFit is the community. The Open is an opportunity to get outside your garage, your local affiliate and community, and throw down with your global CrossFit family. How damn cool is that?
So cool.
Congratulations to everyone who threw their hat in sweat in the ring last year to prove their fitness, and good luck this year. That's our show for today. Be sure to join us next week when we'll have Julie Fouché on set. For Maddie Curley, I'm Pat Sherwood. Thanks for joining us for the CrossFit Games Update Show.